Hi there everyone. This is my first process video and I am working on week 9 today. Um, I'm going through the cards that came with the Studio Calico Confidant Documenter Kit and choosing which ones I think will work well with the spread and making sure that the colors sort of stay similar throughout. Um, I also pulled some wood veneer pieces from a really old Studio Calico kit and some pieces from the Roman holiday. In the first 4x6 card section, I have 3 smaller photographs, but I needed a larger one to back it up. So I pulled out the Confidant Scrapbooker kit, also from Studio Calico, and tried to figure out which color of pattern paper would work best, or cardstock would work best with those 3 photos of the story that I wanted to tell. Those photos are actually pretty funny. They are pictures of Raiders flags that one of our good friends sort of festooned our house with when he was babysitting the house and the cats and stuff when we were away. We had just gotten home on Monday and he put them all up there. So it was pretty hilarious. Next, I'm using the Mega Date stamp to make my title card. And it's kind of hard to adjust, and it chews up your fingers a little bit, but I love it so much. And I think I'm finally wearing it down that it's becoming somewhat easier to move those little rubber strips around with that wheel on the date stamp. I found an old wood veneer right now embellishment, and I stapled it into place with my tiny attacher. And then one of the pictures just sort of needed a white background, so I just found a piece of scrap paper and created a little white mat for it so that it would stand out a little bit. This is a Raider sticker covering the Broncos cutting board that is in our kitchen. I mean, they were just everywhere. The stickers and the flags and everything. It was great. Next, I knew I wanted to embellish this card a little bit more, so I took those awesome hexagon shapes that came in the kit also, and just decorated the lower left-hand corner there, layering them on top of and underneath the photos that I had put on there already, and then I went and trimmed the edges. And I really need to clean my scissors. Next, I used the stickers that came with the kit, and I counted out all the letters just to make sure I had enough before I started peeling them off and sticking them down. But I wanted to spell out "good one" because it was a pretty good trick. And so I did have enough. And I just put those all in there, starting with spelling the words backwards, lining it up on the right-hand side of the paper. And then I added my journaling. Which reads, when we arrived home Monday, we saw that Kenny had defaced not only the house, but the Hellcat, the cutting board, and the fish tank. Well done. So this was a fun memory that I'm glad that we got recorded. Just a little bit of adjustment there on those letters. I'm kind of a stickler for alignment. Then I just took that Wildflowers card and had some chipboard pieces left over from the Gossamer Blue February Life Pages kit and just stuck one of those purple stars on there to accent the purple that was in the title card. One of those wood veneer chips went on the picture of the daffodils that are growing in the front yard. And then I used a piece of white scratch paper to create a journaling space for this card, which I love the orange and coral colors of the background paper there. This is a puffy sticker also. Sorry, it's cut off from the bottom, but it's a puffy sticker from the Documenter kit. And I realized last week when I was using these puffy stickers that they didn't really stick very well, so I had to put some more adhesive on them. And then I just added some journaling about the daffodils. And I said the sight of the daffodils popping up through the bark is enough to make any day happy, which is absolutely true. I love the daffodils in our front yard. There I toyed with the idea of changing that Wildflowers card up, but I decided to stick with the Wildflowers card. And then I needed a little home for this smaller photo. This photo is really weird and interesting that I took it. I was sitting in a meeting and I was paying attention to the meeting, but I would occasionally get distracted by the woman sitting next to me who was writing in shorthand, which I had never seen before, and I was fascinated by it. I asked her if I could take a picture of it and talked about that in the card. And then I just grabbed one of those rounded square stickers from the kit and put it in the lower right hand corner there and trimmed the edge off. The Oh Happy Day die cut piece was from the Roman Holiday documentary kit that I just loved all of them, and you see the tag there with the gold foil heart that was also from that embellishment pack. That was awesome. And I posted a photo of my orchard in bloom shot on Instagram. And while I didn't use that same photograph from Instagram, I did go back and I recorded what I had written that day when I posted the picture. This is an orchard that is close to where my sister lives, and I remembered it, and the blooms were almost gone, so I'm glad I stopped that one day on my way back from my meeting to take a picture before the blooms were all gone. I created a journaling home on that piece of pink and purple paper, which just accented that photograph so well, and added one of the stickers, again in that lilac color that just was made for the paper as well. And that journaling reads, "These flowers didn't smell much, but I sure am glad I stopped to enjoy them. The Central Valley is waking from its winter's nap." And then I just stamped the date that I took the photograph at the very bottom. And that is that page. Moving on to the next page. Have four 4x6 photos and a smaller photo of our kitty Maggie. I'm starting off with the photograph of the journaling card that talks about what breakfast, lunch, and dinner was. And I thought it would be fun to document what we ate on the Sunday, which is the last day of the week that I document. Because we were traveling, we were going to Walt Disney World, and I had to go downstairs to ask my wife what we ate for lunch because I had forgotten. But I just documented all of our meals on our travel day there. One meal in the airport, one meal on the airplane, and then one meal when we arrived at our destination. That top photograph is a little weird story. I just noticed one of these days that I was not taking photographs of myself and in anything, and realized that I didn't like them because I was so pale, and I'm super pale, as you can tell by the color of my arms, and I was like washed out and everything. So I talked about that, and me deciding to wear eyeshadow that day and all that stuff, and I put one of these chipboard stars that I had the dickens of a time getting out from the Gossamer Blue kit from last month, and that was that picture. Sorry about that. This little thing is our kitty Maggie. She is usually fearless, but as you can see in the very top left photograph, there's some flooring that has been up, and that's in our upstairs hallway, and she is terrified by all the noises of the new flooring going in. So she has hidden behind the speakers, behind books, in places that we don't know about, and then she also has jumped up onto our kitchen cabinets, and we took a picture of her while she was up there scared to death. Poor thing. She's usually fearless, so this was a really weird thing for her to be doing this week. And I always seem to run out of room when I journal. Does that happen to you guys? And then I just stapled that wood veneer piece on the edge there. This was a picture of our dinner from Saturday night, the night before we traveled. My wife had made amazing smoked mac and cheese. And if you've never had smoked mac and cheese, find somebody to make it for you or make it yourself, because it is amazing. And so I just had to document that. What am I doing? I'm making, oh, that's right. So there is this die cut piece also from the Roman holiday documentary kit. I only had room for the month and the date, but not the year. So I just inked that portion of the date stamp and put it over there, and then embellished that last photograph there on the bottom right with the details of it. We were starting, this was our dinner when we arrived at Disney World, and we were fortunate enough to have a dinner at the Yachtsman Steakhouse, which is great. I highly recommend it. If you're ever over at the Beach Club and Yacht Club, or not, you can just drive over there if you're there. It's worth the trip, trust me. Put it on some pop dots for a little dimension and stuck it right on the photo. Easy peasy. Next up, I'm going to tackle that green, I'm sorry, no, I'm going to do the blue one. I'm going to do that blue card, another puffy sticker, which I love those puffy stickers. Again, remembering that there is not a lot of adhesive on the back of them, and I don't want it to move around. So I want to put it on that card, but it looks kind of boring just by itself. And so maybe if I stuck down some of these square stickers, that might add a little interest. I'm not sure that I'm even so happy with the way this turned out, and I might go back and lift everything up and put another piece of that red paper from the scrapbook kit on there, or a stripe or washi tape or something. I don't know. I might revise it, but anyway, I put these two stickers on here for now, and then stuck down the puppy sticker, and call that my filler card there. And then the last card that I worked on was this green card, again with a die cut from the Roman holiday kit. Put that die cut on some pop dots, again for some dimension, which I love doing. I probably used too many, but I don't want it to bow in the middle, so I put a lot of pop dots on. And just line it up there in the top right hand corner. I was going to just journal directly on here without putting some white paper down, but when I used my typical precision pen, which is the 03, it looked a little too narrow, so then I switched it out immediately for the 08, which is the thicker of the pens, and that worked out just fine. And I just said we set out to Walt Disney World to celebrate Pat's 70th birthday, and then I put "Let's Go" in the bottom. I don't know what I'm doing. I probably got distracted by something. But finally, writing all this stuff down. And then at the very bottom I put "Let's Go," and I put a box around it, and there we go. This is my first project process video. I hope you enjoyed seeing the images and the thoughts that I had when I was making these photos. Thank you so much for coming by and looking and considering my work. And if you have any comments, I have no ego whatsoever. I just want to get better. So thank you so much, and happy crafting.